talk to you about a monopsony. So let's get into this graph. A monopsony is like a monopoly, but for the labor market or a resource market. Generally, we talk about this as a labor market, meaning they're the only supplier or demander, I should say, of labor. They're the only people hiring, the only firm you can work at. Normally, this is due to the geographic limitations that people have when they're getting their jobs. There's some geographic barriers and sometimes social or family ties that keep you in a certain area. For example, people in West Virginia oftentimes had to work in the coal mines in 80s, 90s, and early 2000s because there was no other industry for them to work in and they weren't likely to move due to poverty or other items. So that's a monopsony in a nutshell. And so this means that we have one market and they are a wage maker, not a wage taker. One firm, the firm is the market. So we're going to start with supply here. We're going to put our supply curve in like so. And we have the supply of the market because the individual supplying their labor to the market can only supply it to one place, which is this particular firm. So that's why the supply curve of the market is actually in on the firm here because the market is the firm. Now, next we have MRC. MRC is not going to be constant like it is and perfectly competitive. In fact, it's going to be upward sloping. In order for this firm to attract more people to work for them, they have to pay a higher wage. Now, when I pay a higher wage to get my third or fourth or fifth worker, I can't just pay that fifth worker a higher wage and pay the first four a lower wage. That's illegal. I'm not allowed to do that. That's called wage discrimination. So because I can't wage discriminate, when I want to hire the fourth worker, I have to increase the wages of all of the workers. So my marginal resource cost increases exponentially greater than my supply curve. And that's why MRC is going to be upward sloping like this. Finally, we have our demand, and our demand equals MRP right here. Demand equals MRP. Those are still the same. Demand equals MRP. This firm, demand is going to be based on the additional revenue that these workers are going to generate for them. So when it's downward sloping because of the law of diminishing returns, right? When I'm hiring my fifth or sixth or seventh worker, eventually they're going to start to add less and less additional revenue because there are too many cooks in the kitchen. Also, when wages are low, we demand more workers, so it's also downward sloping for that reason. Now, when I'm talking about a monopsony, I'm always going to produce where MRP equals MRC, especially whenever I'm talking about any resource market. So my equilibrium point is going to be right there. Let me choose a different color so it's a little more obvious. It's going to be right here. MRP equals MRC. This is going to give me my quantity of laborers that I'm actually going to hire. So that'll be Q right here. Now, when I'm dashing down, I don't actually pay this higher wage up here. I can pay this lower wage right here. I'm going to dash down until I hit supply. The reason I do that is because the supply shows or demonstrates what people are willing to work or how many people are willing to work at that particular wage, right? So supply tells me people are willing to work at this wage right here. And so as a result, the firm is going to hire too few workers and it's going to pay them too low of a wage. It's not going to pay them up here. It's not going to produce the quantity that people want, which is going to be over here. That's a monopsony in a nutshell. Unless the government gets involved in some way, shape, or form, this monopsony is going to continue as such and keeping artificially low wages because of their power that they have over that marketplace. Okay, that's a monopsony. I hope that made some sense for you.